Welcome to SveNFL.
What's up, y'all?
It's Jonathan Rollins.
Schif Misara.
Two Americans living in Sweden talking about Thanksgiving.
Yeah! Let's go!
It's Thanksgiving week, man. It's also week 12 is over, and we are excited. We're gonna actually spend Thanksgiving together for the first time, so we're gonna talk about that a little bit before we get into talking about this exciting week of football that just happened, and happened to be my team's bye week. So I have a very neutral disposition right now. But yeah, man. This episode is the next episode's coming tomorrow anyway, which will technically be Thanksgiving.
Correct.
But I'm turned up, man. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Dude, I'm super pumped. Yeah, I always feel like it's a little weird going into Thanksgiving week being an American living in Sweden, because there's so much hype around Thanksgiving in America. And here it's like, what? We are getting ready for Black Week, yes? The week where we shop very cheap things is Black Week, no?
We raised the prices the week before so we could say it's a sale this week.
Exactly. Which coincidentally is my least favorite American tradition, which has come to
Black
Sweden.
Friday? Oh, yeah.
I just think, for me, Black Friday, I don't know, just even symbolically, I think represents like one of the more disgusting parts of American culture that makes me want to throw up in my mouth. And I hate that it came here as well. I think it just shows you that there's stupid people everywhere. So I guess maybe I should feel good about that.
It kind of makes more sense in America too, though, in my opinion. The positioning of the day, the reason, you know what I mean? And
sure,
to me, Thanksgiving breaks up Christmas and Halloween, you know. So you don't have to start your Christmas hype until that Friday, and then you go shopping. And it used to be more mild when I was a kid. Now Black Friday is insane.
Yeah. It's yeah. I have relatives that will go to the Walmart at midnight.
They probably call it the Walmart.
Yeah, they do call it the Walmart. They don't, I'm not going to Walmart. I'm going to the Walmart.
The Walmart.
It's like literally the biggest thing in their town.
The Walmart.
And they'll go there. Some of them will go. They don't even go intending to participate on the whole, trying to get into the store. They just go to watch. It's like going to NASCAR. Like they're just going. They're going for the car crash.
Look over there. Look over there. Look at it. They're gonna fight.
Hey, look at those two fat ladies getting ready to duke it out over a doll. It's the last one left, man. It's about to get real up in here, brother.
Get the camera out. You got your phone.
Hey, man, did you press record?
I ain't on the Wi-Fi. Use your phone.
I'm out here trying to get my blue check mark, brother. I'm going viral. Now you can buy your blue check mark.
Yeah. But yeah, that's I'm excited that we're gonna spend it together. We're before we started the recording, we're talking about the food. We do talk about food. We haven't talked about food as much lately as we did when we first started this. But this is the week of dinners, man. Like the Thanksgiving dinner. I used to make the rounds too. Remember going to different before you settle down and have your own family, you go to different families and eat everybody's food. What a day Thanksgiving is, man. It's my favorite holiday. Not just because of the food, but the family, like everybody being together. Normally it's a good, like people in good spirits. This one and New Year's for me. People in good spirits. I love it, man.
Thanksgiving has become one of my favorite holidays, actually more so since moving here. Or since it became a holiday where you could celebrate it with your chosen family.
Yeah, okay.
I've said it many times on this podcast that I love my family very much, but they come with quite a bit of baggage, and that baggage tends to be unearthed over Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially when you go around the table and everyone starts to say what they're thankful for, and but they will say what they're thankful for, but they always, to my family anyway, would always find a way to include whatever it is they also struggled with throughout the year, which is fine.
Like a testimony.
It's fine. It is. It becomes like
church.
Everybody has their own little monologue moment. Yeah.
It's the end of church when you're trying to get out of there, and then the old lady stand up. Yo, we had a talent show at my family reunion one time, and I forget her name, man. This old aunt. I can't believe she's still alive. She's still alive. I just found out recently. But she came up there holding an oxygen tank that's connected in, telling the story.
This is going to take a minute.
About her husband who died. Only reason she's not still talking is my brother walked on stage and helped her off. It's just talking. And you know, he died, but he did a good job, and the Lord took him.
Wow, that was a really good impression. I don't know her, but I felt like when you did that voice, I could see her.
Yeah, it was crazy. But it just got so quiet. I was like, damn, she bombing. But yeah, man, that's awkward. But that's awkward, man, when people do that. The Thanksgiving can turn into that. We did it the first Thanksgiving I had just moved. I tried to move here in 2006. I told you, right, that I got deported. But I tried to move here in 2006, and it was my first Thanksgiving, and I was like, I need to do this. I introduced my future in-laws to Thanksgiving. So, like, my mom sent me all the recipes. I got really into it. And then I had my Swedish future in-laws go around and say what they're thankful for. And it was so awkward.
I bet.
For those people that are not Swedish people are probably the least likely in the world to want to open up about anything, especially what they're thankful for, to some strange American.
That is really funny. We've actually never celebrated Thanksgiving with Joanna's family. Primarily because, you know, our Thanksgiving tradition here is like the core group is this group of people that we've known for over 20 years, more or less. And it's a group of Swedish girls who are married to American men. And we've known each other all the way back to our New York days, back in the late 1990s. And everybody moved to Sweden at different times. And then once we were all here, we decided to have a Thanksgiving together.
Oh, that's cool, man.
So it kind of circulates through the group, so to speak. And
that's
grows.
What we did the 4th with, right?
Correct. It's this more or less the same base crew that we did the 4th of July with.
Oh, that's cool, man. Glad to be a part of it, man. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it should be interesting. And there will be, you know, it's always this Thanksgiving tradition that we do, it gets so chaotic and loud because there's so many people that we don't have time to do that. Like, what are you thankful for? Bullshit. No. You can do it in like little pocket conversations. I usually try to like work the room and walk around and be like, all right, so what are you thankful for this year? You know what I mean? Just try to bring it down to a more chilled out level. And I think when you do it in that context, like a one-on-one with a Swede.
Oh, yeah.
It works a little better.
Yeah, don't give.
I think
don't
it's when
put
you
the
get them
spotlight.
all. When they get in the spotlight and everyone's around the table and it's like, okay, that'd make a funny short film, a Swedish Thanksgiving. That would be.
We should do it, hilarious. Man. Let's do it.
It's funny.
All right. Well, we are here to talk about football. It is Thanksgiving week. That means we're gonna have games. Those of you that do fantasy, don't forget to check that your players are or are not playing on Thursday. There's 3 games.
Correct.
On Thursday. So we're gonna get into that, but first we'll talk about the Week 11 games. Flip them and pick them. Win as usual, where I won. Only because I hit on the quote unquote upset that shouldn't have been an upset anyway.
That's true. Didn't you pick the first game? Did you not?
Yes, I did.
Who did you pick?
I picked the Packers.
Seems as though you might have picked the Packers.
I picked the Packers to win that game.
Where's the button?
I had the volume down. The Packers were not right. I know. I don't know what I was thinking, man. I thought the Packers were ready now after beating the Cowboys, and I needed it.
I feel like
it's over now. It's over for the Colts.
I feel like the NFC is so wacky. You know, it's
They're
like, I mean, the Packers look great against the Cowboys, but then all of a sudden, you know, the Cowboys turn around and boat race the Vikings this week, which we'll get to in a minute. But I just feel like it's so hard to predict. The Packers got completely outclassed at home in Lambeau.
Yeah.
I mean, Rodgers, he obviously threw. You know, the one consistency from the previous week is that he did manage to throw 2 touchdowns to this Christian Watson kid, which appears to be turning into a real thing. But otherwise, by his standards,
he didn't
Rodgers
look good,
was off.
Bro. Yeah,
he did not look good. He missed a lot of throws.
Mm-hmm.
He was 24 for 39, 227 yards. I don't think Rodgers has thrown for over 300 yards all season.
Really?
I'm pretty sure that they said that on the broadcast that he hasn't thrown for over 300 yards the whole season, which that's really not good.
You know,
Mr. Ryan. Mr. Ryan Tannehill, on the other hand, I mean, dude deserves some credit. He had a hell of a night. We like to make fun of Ryan Tannehill, but this guy was damn near perfect. 22 for 27, 333 yards, averaged 12.3 yards per throw, 2 touchdowns. He did have a pick, but honestly, he was awesome. Linking up with, what's his name? Trayvon Burks? Is it Traylon or Trayvon? I don't remember. Trayvon. He had 111 yards on 7 catches. Tannehill was out here dropping dimes to this motherfucker. It was interesting. And
it's Traylon.
You know,
Traylon Burks. Yeah.
Is it Traylon?
Yeah.
And you know, statistically speaking, Derrick Henry was actually the most accurate quarterback in this game, going 2 for 2. He was 2 for 2. That's perfect, as 100% for you Saints fans out there who can't understand mathematics. Only 4 yards passing, but he did throw a fantastic jump pass touchdown to my man, former Falcon, Austin Hooper. Let's fucking go. You got to love it. You got to love it. You got to love this jump pass. It's not the first time he's done this.
You really former Falcon in for Austin Hooper? Nah,
I can't. Even I can't buy that one. You know what I mean? I'm like, my former Falcon. Yeah, wait till we get to the Colts game. I can't wait to talk about my former Falcon there.
Man.
But Derrick Henry was fantastic. His throwing the ball is just his part-time job. His real job, his day job, running the football. He had 28 carries for 87 yards and a touchdown.
Bro,
not a bad night for the big man. Not a bad night.
They're trying their best, man. Run this dude into the ground.
Him and Saquon too. The two of them. Yeah. They're handing the rock to Saquon like 40 times.
Help us. Help us. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was for me, I felt it was unfortunate. It kind of solidified the fact that the Colts cannot win the AFC South. We predicted a drop off for the Titans, but it wasn't enough to lose that division. Then we got the
actually, one last historical note about Derrick Henry. I thought this was quite cool. And he became the first player in nearly 40 years to have over 20 carries, more than 2 completions, a rushing touchdown, and a passing touchdown in a single game. The last man to do that, Walter Payton.
I knew it was gonna be Walter Payton. Something told me.
I can't pass up a historical Walter Payton moment.
Yeah.
I mean,
sweetness.
Like I can't think of a more exciting, probably one of my favorite players that was not on my team throughout my childhood.
Well, that was my team when I was a kid.
I was at the right age during the peak Walter Payton years, and him and Barry Sanders, like you just couldn't. Those 2 running backs, you just couldn't beat it. They were the best.
I was too young to really appreciate Walter Payton, but through my dad, I was a Bears fan, so I knew the legend of Walter Payton. Barry Sanders, I got to see like wow, like
Yeah, exactly.
every Sunday I will watch NFL films and all of that, and just when they put that music on and you see Barry Sanders just breaking motherfuckers down, it was like that Allen Iverson crossover commercial when he put the ball behind his neck. It was like Barry Sanders did that every day, man. It was crazy.
That was dope.
All right, then we got your squad, man. Your squad came out. You picked against your squad.
I did, and that's probably why they won. To be fair, Falcons won 27-24. Justin Fields, he's from Kennesaw, Georgia, very close to where I was born in Marietta. So he's coming home to face what I assume was his childhood team. I was clearly afraid that he was going to run all over these Falcons. And to a certain extent, I guess you could say he did do that.
The standard's pretty high for him now.
It is. But I'm happy to say, and obviously part of it is due, which we can get to a little bit later. He was banged up towards the end of the game. So it made it a little easier for the Falcons to kind of bend without breaking.
And you get free points on the special teams,
bro. I mean, honestly, that was like one of the more exciting moments, obviously, of the game. We had trouble sort of taking care of Justin Fields for the most part in the first half. Marcus Mariota didn't help much. 13 for 20, 131 yards, one touchdown. He rushed for 25 yards and a touchdown, a pretty important touchdown, to be fair. But honestly, as you alluded, the most noteworthy part of the game, Bears are up 10-7 after a field goal. On the Falcons' first play of the drive, my man Cordarrelle Patterson fumbles the ball. After that, Bears recover on the Falcons' 29-yard line. This led to Justin Fields scoring his rushing touchdown. They're up 17-7. But then there it was, like a fucking bolt of lightning. That rare moment of near instant redemption, right? And a perfect example of how failure, you know this as an American, failure is just a pathway to perseverance. You know what I mean? You know this. This is some shit that Swedes have not figured out yet. My man Cordarrelle Patterson receives the kickoff from the letter A in the end zone. Okay? From the A, explodes down the field. Amazing blocks down all the way down the way, by the way. Splits the Bears defense like Moses split the Red Sea, right?
It's crazy. He didn't look that fast until you see everybody trying to catch him, and he's just going past everybody.
He just splits them right up the middle. 103-yard kickoff return to the from the A to the A. He falls on the A when he scores a touchdown straight into the record books. This is his 9th kickoff return for a touchdown and officially the most ever in NFL history. Man, you should have seen me and Isak flying off the couch at that moment. Bet. We damn near tried to jump through the television so that we could help block. You know, I mean, we were screaming at the we were so fucking pumped. And honestly, it's funny. It's one of those moments that you kind of think of, like as a father. Oddly enough, like a little slightly serious note on football fandom. I think about this a lot. My father passed on this Falcons fandom to me, and sadly, my son has picked it up from me. Historically, there have not been a lot of great moments. Generally, it's these little moments that matter the most. And a moment like this that gets 2 generations of Musaras off of their seats, screaming at the television, rocking the double high fives as you realize there's no flag on the play.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll remember that moment for the rest of his life, but I sure as shit will never forget it. Honestly. I mean,
that's beautiful.
I love that kid, and I feel an enormous amount of guilt for having turned him into a Falcons fan. But what are you gonna do?
But it's moments like these that make it worth it. You know?
Yeah. So when I'm old and gray, I'll be like, remember that time Cordarrelle Patterson took it from the A to the A
he broke
into
the
the record books. He broke the record. Do you remember that? Just remember that before I go, son.
It was 2000. Was it 21, 22? Was it 21, 22? I don't know. That was 2022. Yeah, man. I was glad for you. I was glad for you.
Yeah.
One thing that bothers me is this media narrative that like Justin Fields is the next. When it's like, I don't know yet. He can't, like, he's off when it's time. Like, there's been a few times this season when they just need him to put together one drive and they win the game, turn some of these losses into wins, and he hasn't done it yet.
Right.
He was really close in that one game against Washington.
Yeah, to me, I think it's for me, Justin Fields. I mean, there's obviously a lot of similarities between him and Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Because of the way they play and they rely on design runs and scrambles and things like that. But for me, the thing that I find the most comparable is as far as like what the team expects from him. At this moment, the Bears cannot win football games unless Justin Fields puts on the cape. And even then, that's not a guarantee, right? And this has been a problem for the Ravens. To be fair, the Ravens are a better football team, period. We all know that. But I would argue that the reason why the Ravens have not made it farther than they have is because they're expecting too much from their quarterback. And I think the Bears are going to run into the same problem. And the real problem is that once he gets hurt, which is what happened in this game, he separated his shoulder in this game. He kept playing. He also tweaked his hamstring. And at that point, it's like, well, of course the Falcons were able to stop him.
Yeah.
At that point, the guy's got a separated shoulder and a fucked up hamstring. I
also think that he's getting confused by defenses, and then he starts running. And that's
correct.
what he needs to protect the team, which is protecting himself.
Yeah.
And learn how to read defenses and, make the throws that he needs to make. And then he'll be a bigger weapon. And instead of the Lamar Jackson comparisons, you'll have more Josh Allen comparisons.
Sure.
Because he's got a cannon.
I think
he's got a cannon.
I think it's a fair point, and it'll be really interesting. I think this year is obviously a huge improvement from last year. And I think it would be interesting to see what happens next year.
It's another sub-20 completion performance, 14 completions out of 21 attempts.
That's pretty problematic, I would say.
It's like, come on, man. And I don't know. I thought they were bringing him along all right because it was like they were giving him more passes, but it's like, I don't know, man.
I think maybe you texted me about this, that the Falcons had managed to get into a situation where they were forcing Fields to beat us with his arm, which clearly he's not capable of doing. Once we were able to get in that situation, there was still a lot of work to do to win this football game. There were a few more touchdowns that traded back and forth in the second half. It was really by the, slimmest of margins where, Younghoe Koo again, you can't ice. This man has given us the game-winning field goal kick again. But Fields with the game on the line in the fourth quarter, a minute 47 to work with. He overthrows Montgomery. Jalen Hawkins picks it off, and that's the ball game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was worried going into this game that this was going to be kind of a referendum on the 2021 draft. We took Kyle Pitts in the number 4 spot. We had the chance to take Justin Fields, and we didn't. I don't know. I don't think that debate will ever die. I would certainly rather see Justin Fields in a Falcons uniform than Marcus Mariota, to be honest. I'm not sure.
I'm living in that, bro. I'm living in Tua Herbert thing. It happens all the time. There's no avoiding it. You know what I mean? But there's no way that any GM could know beforehand. He was kind of a question mark, and he's still a question mark. Only thing we know is he's exciting. It's exciting to see somebody tearing up the league, running from the quarterback position, but then he's tearing up his shoulder too. You know what I mean? And then at some point, remember Lamar Jackson was doing that, and then there were all the question marks came at the end of the season when the games got tight and he had to throw the ball. And the first 2 years, everybody's wondering, is this dude just a trick running back? And then he still took the lead by storm, though. I want to say his third season.
I think the Fields argument amongst Falcons fans is a little more intense because not a lot of these Falcons fans are also Georgia Bulldog fans. And for those of you who don't know, Justin Fields was the backup quarterback to Jake Fromm. How good, like that guy is not a real NFL quarterback. He's trash. And a lot of people, myself included, would have rather have seen Justin Fields as the starting quarterback.
They could take that up with their racist ass college coaches. Like take that
Correct.
up. Atlanta's not supposed to make up for that shit. Atlanta didn't even know if they had the right coach.
Exactly. But it's funny because you can't really when you have a conversation with a real Falcons fan, there's a fairly good chance that they're also a Bulldogs fan. And all of those emotions get swirled up in it. So it gets kind of confusing and crazy. Either way, it doesn't really matter because Justin Fields plays for the Chicago Bears now. And Kyle Pitts now has a season-ending MCL injury, which, obviously it kind of sucks, but we don't know how to use him anyway. So I don't see how much and it's not like he's the best blocking tight end in the league. So it's not, of course you take away one of the weapons, but it's like, again, we don't know how to use him anyway. So I don't think it matters that much. One
good sign about Justin Fields is that in the locker room post game, he told the team that the defense gave the offense a chance and the offense didn't get it done. And he apologized for letting the team down. And the players said it went a long way with him. And they know that he played hurt trying to make it happen. So the leadership is there.
Yeah. And there'll be another quarterback who we'll discuss a bit later who went in a slightly different direction when I asked that question. But we'll
delve into that.
We've already spent. I always feel sometimes I feel like I have to apologize to our podcast listeners because I know we always spend way too much time on the Falcons game. So
sorry. And Thanksgiving, and we're 27 minutes in on the second game.
Just buckle in, y'all. This one you might have to listen to this one in
two parts
in sessions or something.
All right, well, let's breeze through the ones we can. Like Browns versus Bills. It was an exciting game though. The Browns played the Bills. I picked the Bills to win this game. Predictably, they did win, but the Bills are looking pretty sus.
Yes, it did take them a while to take control of this game, but eventually they did. Yeah. In my opinion, actually, the most interesting part, of the story to this game was all the stuff that happened before. Obviously, this game was played in Detroit because of a massive snowstorm. They had this thing called the lake snow effect, where it sucks all this moisture up from the lake and dumps it down on the poor people of Buffalo. Also, thunder snow, which I've never heard of. Have you heard of this?
No, man.
Thunder snow. This is basically like you and I know this. No, you and I know this from growing up in the South. Like what just a regular torrential downpour thunderstorm is like. It's the same thing, but it's a snowstorm instead of a rainstorm, and you've got thunder and lightning going off during the. I didn't realize that was even possible.
That happened here too.
Exactly. And then I had just read about this thunder snow thing, and then all of a sudden it happens here. I was like,
yeah, it was crazy.
Thunder snow, to me, I felt like it sounded like a really shitty Icelandic metal band, We are Thunder Snow! But, 56,000 tickets were sold in 24 hours before this game.
Wow.
This is Bills Mafia showing up to fucking buy 56,000 tickets
and get out of town.
And Bills Mafia is showing up at the players' houses to help dig their cars out of the driveway so that these guys can get to the airport. I mean,
you the real MVP.
Honestly, they regardless of how you feel about the Buffalo Bills,
best fans.
How many times have you heard stories about them like donating to other players' charities or all this other stuff? It's just they're unbelievable.
Yep.
Anyway, as you said, it took a while for the game to heat up. I was really curious why there was this weird scenario where Stephon Diggs didn't get a target until deep into the second quarter. His first target was his first catch, which also happened to be a touchdown. But it was like, why? Did you see something that I didn't see? Were they really taking him away, or
they do have one of the best corners in football.
Yeah,
and they have a good second. I'm sure that's the focal point.
But I just a little surprised that Josh Allen wouldn't throw it to him anyway.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. But Josh Allen seems a little bit, if not broken, he's sprained.
Maybe he's a little. He has thrown a lot of interceptions in the last couple of weeks, so maybe he was reluctant to throw into that kind of coverage. But I actually think the MVP of this game was Bills linebacker Matt Milano.
He's always a beast. He's one of the best in the league.
The guy is everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere. He is everywhere.
Game. Yeah, I can see that. I also think that their commitment to running the ball is why they're finally committing for real. And stop trying to do this hero Josh Allen stuff. They let him run 3 planned runs or 3 runs, but other than that, they got 29 rushing attempts.
Yeah,
that's some fucking Derrick Henry numbers between Singletary and Cook, and they look good. They were gashing.
I'm really, besides my look, obviously my man, former Bulldog, James Cook. I think he's a hell of a running back, and I don't understand why it's taken them this long to figure out, because the way we used him at Georgia is that, we ran by committee at Georgia, but James Cook was our primary passing running back. You stick him out in the flats, you throw him the ball, get him out in space, and the guy's gone. He's basically an extra receiver, and I don't know why it's taken the Bills this long to trust him. I know he fumbled. He fumbled on his first carry in his first NFL game, and I feel like he's been trying to work his way out of the doghouse since then. But that's fucking stupid. Just give him the ball, and don't kill Singletary. You have the opportunity to have, Singletary and Cook, and in this game you saw it. They finally decided, okay, you know what? Let's do this, and it worked.
So I thought, I'm a little bit worried about the Bills a little bit, but
I think
they'll be all right, though.
I think you bring up an interesting point, though, because I think the thing that's hidden underneath the score that a lot of people probably didn't realize is that, oddly enough, Bills kicker Tyler Bass was quietly kind of the man of the match. This guy went 6 for 6 and accounted for 18 of their
points at. Yeah,
it came from the kicker.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's great that your kicker is 6 for 6, but it's hiding a deeper problem, in my opinion.
I agree, man. Next game, we got the Eagles and the Colts, man. You called the upset, and I was like,
"Is
this motherfucker Skip Stradamus?"
I was close, man.
Man, Jeff Saturday got them boys rolling. The Colts had a valiant effort against the number 1 team in the NFC. On what was a shaky day for the number 1 teams in the NFC. So
Colts defense played their asses off.
Yeah, man. And that's how they're supposed to have been playing all year. Because that defense is always together. And then, it did come down to sometimes I texted you, Matt Ryan. Because I was rooting for the Colts.
You mean I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?
I was waiting on these dudes come through and win this fucking game, and I'm over here like, come on, Matt, you got it, man. Prove him wrong, man. Prove him wrong. And then he just slowly backpedals into a sack every time. Every time. God damn.
He you know what he does? He did this in this game too. He backed into a sack, but he also walked into a sack. Where he tries to step forward in the pocket.
It's so slow. It's like, oh my God. I thought quicksand was a myth, but it's always on his back step. There's quicksand.
His footwork is terrible.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, headed into the fourth quarter, the Eagles only had 3 points on the board.
It was crazy. I was thinking about that. They were up by 10 in the fourth quarter. And Matty Ice was like, you know what? I've been here before. I've had a lead in the fourth quarter. I know how to lose this.
Step aside, son.
Man, they scored 3 points in the final quarter, but they were up 13-3 and found a way to lose that game. So frustrating. Jonathan Taylor he even got almost 100 yards. Maybe they could have given him the ball more. I don't know, man, but it doesn't look like Jeff Saturday is much a drop off of Frank Reich. The team looks like energized, I think. But
we'll see.
I'm a little worried about the Eagles, though.
Yeah. Well, I think the Eagles. I mean, I don't think anybody. We've been talking about this all year. The Eagles. I mean, obviously, you got to give them.
I was a believer.
Got to give them credit for going undefeated for as long as they have. But it's not like the obvious issues with that team weren't there. It was just going to take. It was going to take a somebody trying to figure out how to punch him in the mouth. You know what I mean?
You know what worries me the most? Nick Sirianni, our boy, each individual.
Yep.
After the game, got emotional. His mentor,
he did.
His father, I think a previous coach he had, and Frank Reich. He named 3 mentors in his life who meant the most to him in his life, and how much this game meant to him. They were coming out to beat this team that unjustly fired. He didn't say it, but unjustly fired Frank Reich. And this is what you did. You had a vendetta, and you came out and did this. This like going to stop some dude from beating up his girlfriend, and then you just get punched in the face.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is the honor that you carry on you. It's like,
yeah,
that scares me that he came in ready to fucking rock and roll, and then he put up this barely beating him.
He was more than a little lucky.
Barely.
To get out of there with a win, and he was pretty pumped afterwards. Obviously, there's footage of him walking up to the Colts fans before he goes into the locker room saying that was for fucking Frank Reich. And then he goes into the press conference and you know, it does that thing that he was like, you don't want to know how I really feel about this, you know. Which is fine.
I'm totally
whatever.
embarrassed and totally ashamed.
Get out of here.
But it's like, come on, we can see your tail between your legs, bro. We can see it. We saw the game. We watched the game. You barely won this. Take a seat. Get your team right.
All right.
And you know, take that stupid highlighter out of your fucking hat.
Why does that bother you so much?
I don't know, man. I hate it.
Then we got I forgot to make the sound, man. I forgot to make the sound. I'm gonna make the sound for this segment that we like to call the Shit Bowl Game of the Week, brought to you by X-Lax.
Brought to you by X-Lax.
But the
this game was an embarrassment.
Yes. Let's see what Tom Brady has to say about this.
There's a lot of bad football from what I watch.
I agree, Tom. You left that team right on time. The Patriots played the Jets in the showcase of the 31st and 32nd best quarterbacks in the NFL. Maybe 34th and 35th. There's some backups better than these motherfuckers. Zach Wilson, holy shit, and Mac Jones. His stat line is very, very deceiving.
Correct.
It looks like he had a decent game. The motherfucker's bad, man. And he throws it short too. Like I don't know. He's broken.
You're right.
Man.
You're 100% right because his stat line is 23 for 27, 246 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He got sacked 6 times.
Yeah.
But it was just the way, like
Sack Jones.
He was, Stat Jones.
I said Sack.
We could call him Stat Jones.
Stat Jones. Yeah, Whack Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Whack Jones versus Whack Wilson.
But when you play against someone like Whack Wilson, and this shit is funny. Listen to this: 9 for 22.
Yeah.
77 yards passing, no touchdowns. Obviously.
Oh, wait! Is this Derrick Henry's?
Yeah. No touchdowns, no picks. Miraculously, bro. The Patriots
a few drops.
DBs. Yo, listen.
McCourty had one in the breadbasket.
They dropped at least 3. They're gonna have to do some jugs practice this week because those motherfuckers were dropping picks all over the place, throwing it right to him like he wanted. Like it was The Jets never crossed their own 35-yard line in the second half.
Their own 35.
Exactly.
God,
They had 2 total yards of offense in the second half. I mean, it doesn't get any shittier than that.
And they talk about what's his name won't commit to Wack Wilson for next game. What do you mean won't commit? Commit to not playing him.
Correct.
It's time for Big Dick Mike.
Well, that story shifted over the course of 24 hours where Robert Saleh was not ready to throw Zach Wilson under the bus, but then this video comes out of a reporter asking Zach Wilson, considering how well the defense played, do you feel like you let them down? And he said, nope, no, absolutely not. And everybody just went, I'm sorry, what? Which was obviously in stark contrast to the way you described Justin Fields and what he said after the game.
Exactly.
This is how you lose the locker room.
Yep.
This is exactly how you lose the locker room.
I was gonna get the audio, but it's too long. But
and in a game where the score is knotted at 3-3, we thought this is going to overtime.
Yeah.
This is going to overtime at 3-3.
It's gonna be a draw.
This is the most pathetic. Yeah. What if it goes to overtime and still ends 3-3? This might be the worst game in NFL history. And then out of nowhere, the Jets punt the ball away with 24 seconds left on the clock, and third-round rookie Marcus Jones has to be the guy to end this fucking thing.
Mark Jones instead of Mac Jones.
Thank God for him. Thank God that he ended this football game.
Get this over with.
Thank you, Marcus Jones. I feel like I want to send him a Christmas gift or something because he took this shit 84 yards to the house to put this game out of its fucking misery like a horse that just needs a fucking just pow, pow, pow. Like, just end it, man. End it.
Yes. And then they almost got a penalty to pull that back because some idiot blocked.
Honestly,
that was a block in the back. It looked like when it happened, I was like, no, he didn't. That's one of those things that happens on Madden when you run for a touchdown and then they do a penalty at the end just to pull it back. I was like, I can't believe he just did that.
Most people up and down the board throughout the whole NFL media universe are all scratching their heads like, how is that not a penalty?
The refs wanted to leave too because when he did it, I was like,
this dude just did this.
You're probably right. The refs were like, "No, man, let's
get this over with, man.
This is bullshit. It's cold. This game is shitty. Get me out of here."
Yeah. Enough on that shitty game. Great rant though. That shit was great. The next game was the. You called it. You said the Saints will beat the Rams. I didn't want to believe it until it happened, and I'm just we need death music. Dun 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 dun. The Rams are fucking done, man.
Finished. Yeah,
they look good though.
Yeah, but I would say coming into the game, these are clearly two teams that are out here struggling. I don't know what to say other than the fact that this is. I agree. We are past the time where we can like definitively fork the Rams. Like they're done.
Yeah.
And the Saints can only usually, is whatever. They played a good game, but most of the time they can only play one decent quarter of football, and that was enough to get them the victory. Andy Dalton looked great on paper.
Yeah.
Certainly better on paper than he looked on the field, in my opinion. He went 21 for 25, 260 yards, 3 touchdown passes.
Red rifle, baby.
Those 21 points, which turned out to be enough to win the game, were scored basically in the second and part of the third quarter. The Saints still haven't really played a complete football game all year. Outside of Kamara having a quiet night, Chris Olave, dude is special.
Yeah.
Him I like. I'm so impressed with him. That guy was an absolute beast. This guy, Juwan Johnson, this tight end, he scored a touchdown in all 5 of his last games. He's been fucking fantastic as well.
Wait till Michael Thomas comes back, man.
Right.
That's what everybody always says. And when they get Michael Thomas back, oh my God.
I'm just glad that an actual tight end like Juwan Johnson is starting to go off. Undrafted free agent out of Oregon. This guy is going off and balling out, unlike this fake ass Taysom Hill tight end bullshit.
Yeah.
Like every time they put this guy in the game, I'm like, what are you doing? Like
1 for 3, 14 yards. So
And
he's
they
not-
had him in the
yeah.
game on like key third down plays, like third and long, where I'm like, what are you doing?
Does Dennis Allen make it past this year?
I don't think he should. I don't think he deserves to make it past this
No.
year. If I'm a Saints fan, which God, that's a horrible thing to imagine. I would demand that you get a real football coach, a real head coach.
All right.
Um,
Then we got the Lions versus the Giants. I thought the Giants were going to beat the lowly Lions. Boy, was I wrong. The
Yeah.
Giants forgot there was a game. I don't know what happened.
Dude,
maybe,
they blew the doors off the Giants.
Maybe the Giants were fake news. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just a bad Sunday. We'll see. But the Lions, maybe Dan Campbell firing that dude he fired woke everybody up, and now the Lions, they're on a 3-game winning streak, right?
Yeah, man, they're on a heater. They're on a heater.
And they put up 31 on the Giants.
Yeah, who have had pretty good defense so far.
Yeah. I was surprised when I saw the how much the Giants were struggling. Our boy Daniel Jones, he threw for 341 yards. He was slinging it, but he looked like old Daniel Jones
True.
a little bit. Where
He also had 2 picks.
Yeah.
And there was a fumble as well. So the Lions were working with pretty good field position for most of the night, which kind of explains whatever. Goff didn't throw any TD passes, but he also didn't throw any picks.
Yeah.
He was 17 for 26, only 165 yards passing, but Jamal Williams had 3 rushing touchdowns.
Mhm.
And I think he leads the NFL in touchdowns at the moment with 12, which is crazy. My
lot
man,
of
former
touchdowns.
Bulldog DeAndre Swift, also found the back of the end zone, which is nice. Yeah, sure. And Daniel Jones, yeah, again. How do you throw a pick to a guy who has the shortest arms in the NFL? How? How do you do this, Mr. Tyrannosaurus arms?
That's the second week with a pick in a row, right? He picked off Rodgers in the end zone, didn't he?
That might have been 2 weeks ago, but yeah, I think so.
I thought they beat the. Oh no, because it is 2 weeks ago.
But
Rodgers
he's out here making plays. This one, Jones just threw it right to him.
Yeah.
Like a baby could have caught that. Even with baby arms, you could catch that thing.
It was a good week for defensive linemen and getting interceptions. That's for sure.
I mean, this game was a rout. It was never close.
Dan
Never.
Campbell just relaxing on the side, man. It's good to see him smile, man.
You know what I like about this the most, actually, is that so you have the Lions, as you said, they've just ripped off 3 wins in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They're sitting in second place in the NFC North.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty far below the Vikings, but above the struggling Packers. But next up, they have their Thanksgiving game against the Bills, who are also struggling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember the last time a Lions Thanksgiving game actually had any pop to it.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't remember the last time, because it's always the first game of Thanksgiving Day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always like the one that you're like, yeah, it's on in the background. It's like, but this one's got some pop. I don't remember the last time a Lions game on Thanksgiving had some real pop to it. So I'm here for it. Now I've said that, and the Bills are going to just absolutely murder
beat
them.
the dog shit out of them. It's going to be cool to watch some football on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got the Panthers and the Ravens and another like a X-Lex shit bowl.
What the hell happened here?
Yeah, man. We had another shit bowl, and this one that was unexpected shit bowl. I guess it was supposed to be a shit bowl in the way that like it was supposed to be a route that's not as competitive, but it turned out to be competitive.
It was 6-3 in the fourth quarter.
That's when
the Panthers receiver fumbled the ball deep in Carolina territory. 2 plays later, Lamar Jackson walks it into the end zone for a 13-3 lead. I mean, I don't know. I guess there's nice things to say, like the Ravens D obviously shut down Deontay Foreman, which is important.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield was about as Baker Mayfield as you could expect. 21 for 33, 196 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 motherfucking picks. Both came late in the game, though. I mean, those 2 picks, to be fair, came late in the game when he's trying to win the.
Yeah. Did you see the pick Jackson threw?
Yeah.
D lineman. They were out there balling this week, man. He faked the rush, backed off a little bit. He's probably a spy. And I guess Jackson didn't account for him. Threw it right to him.
Mm.
and he held on to it.
Penalties probably are the underrated biggest factor in this game. Carolina had 9 penalties for 66 yards, and the Ravens had 10 penalties for 93 yards.
God damn.
So no wonder these teams couldn't score. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a shitty shit bowl. Maybe the Ravens will have a wake-up call off of that one. You picked them to win. They did win. The next game, I tried to call an upset. I thought the Texans would come out and give Washington a run. Washington seems to be on kind of a roll, man. Washington came out and handled their business. It was never in doubt, and they beat. And maybe all of this drama, maybe like stepping on the field, is like getting them through the bullshit going on around them.
Yeah, I've heard some reports about that the players are kind of
It's their getaway.
Yeah, they're trying to kind of their attempt to block out all of the outside noise surrounding this franchise is helping the team kind of come together. I mean, it has to be said that, Davis Mills throwing a pick 6 on his second snap of the game certainly helps you to win a football game for sure.
I
Yeah,
still like
Heineke,
Davis Mills though.
yeah, Heineke wasn't special. He was only
No.
15 for 27, 191 yards. He didn't throw any touchdowns. Their only other touchdown came from a Curtis Samuel rushing play.
Yeah.
After that, it was all field goals.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to say about the Texans. This rookie Damian Pierce, who's been so great throughout the year, feels like he's starting to fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
The
It's
past couple
talent,
games,
man. They don't have the talent.
yeah.
And then they're finally getting draft picks back just in time to fire Lovie Smith. So that's right on par.
Pierce had 10 carries for 8 yards in this game.
God damn.
That's a pretty steep
Ron
drop-off.
Rivera, man. He was Ron Rivera, he's out there feeling like our boy.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though.
True. And the interesting thing, especially, I'm glad you brought that up because the NFC East, record-wise, is turning out to be one of the more fascinating divisions in the league. The Commanders are in last place with a 6-5 record, right behind the Giants, who are at 7-3. Cowboys are also 7-3, and then you have the Eagles at 9-1.
They might put 4 in the playoffs.
At the moment, I think if the playoffs started today, the top 3 would be in, and the Commanders are really just one game away from also being in.
It'll be the first time ever, man. Since they went to 7 games, it hasn't been possible. But now it'll be the first time where they can put the whole division in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And just 3 years ago they were the worst division in football.
To be fair, they have the
years.
easiest schedule in the league this year, the NFC East. So
It used to be that they were part of making teams' schedules the easiest schedule. If you played the NFC East, then you had an easier schedule because they all
correct.
sucked.
You're
So
correct.
That's a good thing, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Now we got the where we at? The Raiders.
Broncos, Raiders, hot seat bowl. Let's go.
The Raiders nudged past the Broncos. Wasn't it an overtime game?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and I don't know. Both of these coaches need to fucking go. They're both in the same predicament that I talked about last week. And but Russell Wilson out here playing like shit. No, it was statistically he was better. But what did he do at the end? He did something to fuck up real bad at the end.
No,
of the
but
game.
the Broncos are doing the same thing they do seemingly every week. Where their first drive of the game, it looks like, oh shit, okay, here we go,
Scripted.
and then it just shuts down. I don't know what's going on. And then also, the news that dropped before this game that Nathaniel Hackett was turning over play calling duties to quarterback coach.
What is he
and
there
passing
for?
game quarterback Clint Kubiak, he used to call plays for the Vikings last year.
Right.
Kubiak, it did not help. Obviously. The Broncos, they're such a weird football team. And they seem to week after week also they build this 10-point ceiling right out of the gates. And then that's it. It's over. Like,
Have you heard the stat? Have you heard the stat?
Which one?
There's a stat out there.
Yeah.
If the Denver Broncos would have scored 18 points every game this season, they would be 9-1.
Wow. Shit, dude.
That shit is crazy. Fire this motherfucker immediately.
All you need is 18 points.
18 points in today's pass happy NFL. 18 points and they're 9-1.
I am so upset. That's shocking.
It's crazy, man. I couldn't believe it.
I am so upset.
I couldn't believe when I heard that. I was like,
That
9-1.
is shocking.
Yeah,
That is
they're 3-7.
That's the most shocking thing I've heard all season.
Yeah.
That's shocking. Wow.
They will be 9-1, man. That is insane. That alone is reason to fire the coach. That means your defense is doing its thing. We said it. We said they were a quarterback away. They got the quarterback. They didn't get the coach. Because it's proof. Like, my team is proof that a coach can change an offense.
True.
Change an offense. They had Vic Fangio before, built a great defense, got rid of him. Defense is still intact. They could have brought in a good offensive mind. There's some good offensive minds that were out there that were applying for jobs. Just throwing it out there. Eric.
Unbelievable. I mean, the Raiders, you also have to kind of put the Raiders in the crosshairs in this game a little bit too, because I feel like if it wasn't for the 9 penalties that they took for 98 lost yards, I think they would have absolutely blown the doors off of the Broncos in this game, because you had Carr cooking it to Devontae Adams, 23 for 37, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Devontae Adams had 7 catches for 141 yards. Josh Jacobs had a hell of a day, 24 carries for 109 yards. He also had a ton of like receiving yards too. Like, I mean, this Raiders team cannot stop tripping over their own dicks. I don't understand. And to me, I just feel like this game wouldn't have even gone to overtime had it not been for the number of penalties that they got.
Do you feel like these guys put their bodies through some of this? They put so much stuff into their bodies and they put it through so much.
Yeah.
Every week, man. If only you knew. If all the guys, I wish everybody in the locker room felt that way.
Oh boy, here we go. Here comes the waterworks.
Well, they got the W. I still think they should get rid of the coach. I really do. I don't know, man. They should not be 3-7.
It's a little stunning. I think they have some real issues with whatever it is they're trying to do on third downs too, because this was one of the other stats that shocked me. The Broncos' third down efficiency. They were only 3 for 12 on third downs. That's not good.
No, it's 25%. That's shitty.
That's not good enough.
No.
You improve that by even... Again, like you said, you improve that by like 10%, you might win this ball game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All you need is 18 points and you're winning games. Like you're 9-1. It's absurd.
Yeah. Then we got the Cowboys Vikings and man, I call this quote unquote upset. We all saw this shit coming. I don't know how what was it? 60-something percent thought the Vikings will win. I think they're just looking at the record. I don't know. But the Vikings, honestly, were not ready for this ass whooping that they got. They ran up against a buzzsaw. Our man, who we predicted to be Defensive Player of the Year, is going to get it.
Oh, yeah.
Micah Parsons coming around the edge.
It's a lock.
Has there been anything more desperate and sad this whole year than Kirk Cousins reaching out for that football? With Micah Parsons on his back after he fumbled it, and he just couldn't quite get it.
Yeah,
it's right there. It was like the Scary Movie 2. It's my good hand.
Yeah,
my good hand.
And that was how they started the game.
Yeah,
like, that was just like
out the gate.
It's going to be like this.
Yes.
As a neutral fan, this was the game I was looking forward to the most.
Same.
But it turned out to be a complete dud. Great if you're a Cowboys fan, obviously. But yeah, you're right. It did. I actually wrote in my notes that it felt like, especially after they lost Christian Darrisaw, the Vikings, their right tackle, or no, sorry, their left tackle.
Yeah.
Or right tackle.
It was left tackle, the most important one.
Christian Darrisaw, once he went out of the game with an injury, this turned into like a bloodbath slasher film type of thing. Kirk Cousins, Jesus, he was bad. I have him in one of my fantasy leagues. He got me like 2.2 points in my fantasy league. That's how bad he was. Yeah. He went 12 for 23, 105 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, but he had the lost fumble, as you mentioned. He got sacked 7 times. This was just an all-out fucking beatdown.
Yeah.
This is funny. Just to kind of put things into perspective, the Cowboys had 458 yards of total offense. Vikings, 183. Cowboys were 12 for 17 on third downs. Vikings, 1 for 11. The Dallas D blew up drive after drive with big third down plays. Micah Parsons all over it. It just felt like he was involved in every big play in the game.
Who'd you say?
Fucking shit. I fucked it up again. It's Micah Parsons. Damn, it's fucking. It's just racist for me to not get his name right week after week.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
I'm better than that.
Yeah.
Fucking better than that, man. Dak was good. I mean, I guess, I don't know. 22 for 25, 276 yards, 2 touchdowns. Zeke. I feel like they're finally starting to figure out this running back thing where it's like,
yes.
why do you need to have a conversation about, like, if you have 2 running backs that are that good, then you don't have to have this conversation about which one's better. Just play like this to me was the most like complete and perfect version of how you handle the Zeke Pollard situation, because Zeke had only 42 yards rushing, but he had 2 touchdowns. So they were mostly using him deep in the red zone. Pollard had only 80 yards rushing, but then he tacked on 106 yards receiving with 2 receiving touchdowns. So it's like, you don't have to have the debate if you find the right balance. And to me, this was perfect. Obviously, it's in a game where you completely just blew the doors off the Vikings. Can you do this last week we were having a conversation about how, how do you lose to the Packers, right? And then they show up and drop a 40 burger on the Vikings. So this, again, the NFC is like fucking schizophrenic. I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Vikings had me thinking they were for real, but now I'm sort of recalibrating. I don't know what to think about them anymore.
Damn. The next game, we got the Bengals and the Steelers, and it turned out to be a good game. And the Steelers were sticking with it. It was the best look for you can see the growth in the young buck. What's his name? The quarterback.
Kenny Pickett.
It was some growth in there. I can see that it's working out. All right.
He's got a really good wide receiver. What's his name? I don't remember his name.
I don't know. I don't know where he went to school at. I don't know shit.
Where
about
did he
guy.
go? Did he go? Hold on.
Go ahead, get it in there, man.
Sorry, I'm just having a big sip from my Georgia Bulldog cup.
Go ahead.
My man, former Bulldog George Pickens is a fucking beast, son. Let's go.
I get the whole sound in there.
He's good at football. You got to admit. He's really good.
And he dropped one that would have set it apart too. Like he would have had another touchdown. The deep one that was like a cover 2 beater. He blew by those 2. The safety was maybe a little late or something. And it was just out of his reach, man. If he would have pulled that one in, jeez, it would have been a crazy day. They might have won the game. But they stuck in there, man. The Steelers putting up 30 points. You're not seeing that all the time.
No,
this season.
I mean, it helps when Joe Burrow. I mean, whatever. Joe Burrow threw 4 touchdown passes, but he also threw 2 picks. TJ Watt, I don't know. I don't even. He's such a freak of nature. The way
that interception was out of 2 other linemen got interceptions this week. He's hold my beer interception for real.
Exactly.
How do you do that? The ball is coming super fast, and he just like, oops, oh, it's mine.
It's an absolute dart.
And I like the celebration too on the side where he throws his helmet up like a grenade and watches it hit the ground. Like, oh man, love that dude, man. The Watt brothers, man. Geez.
Yeah, man. He was special. This team is so much better with him in the lineup. It's you almost have to give him. They're not a great team this year, but with him in the lineup, you almost have to give him a chance week after week because he's that good. T. Higgins had a nice day, 148 yards.
Man, he was carrying it.
He was. He's really stepping up in the absence of Jamar Chase, which is great. But I'm just curious, did any of our listeners have Trenton Irwin or Samaje Perine in their fantasy leagues? Because these motherfuckers put up all the points.
Yeah, Mixon got hurt as well.
Mixon got hurt. Trenton had 1 TD catch, and Samaje Perine with 3 fucking TD catches. I did not see that coming. Najee Harris had a nice touchdown too. That one where he flies over the top.
Jumped over the dude.
That was dope.
That was a great play. Yeah, it was a fun game. I was glad that they put up a fight. I didn't expect them to really put it up. You picked the Bengals to win that. Yeah, it was fun, and
but Anarumo too.
Steelers,
You got to give a shout out to Anarumo from the Bengals too, because in the second half, the Bengals defense was pretty dominant, only allowing a field goal until the Steelers scored pretty late in garbage time to make this look really a lot closer than it.
Yeah.
That last touchdown that got him those 30 points was really, I mean, the Bengals got the ball back. They kneeled it twice. The game was over. It was garbage time. But yeah, they did that thing where they adjusted at halftime and said, let's shut this thing down.
I thought about that during the game. I was like, damn, he did it again.
And now the Bengals are quietly sneaking up on the Ravens. They're in second place at 6-4. The Ravens are at 7-3, and they didn't look good against the Carolina Panthers. So they better watch the fuck out. That
might be a showdown. This is kind of like last year, except for they did it to the Steelers. Sneaking up on them, man. Maybe it's Wag Taylor's strategy. I just start off looking like I need to get fired, and then I look like I need to be coach of the year. That's my thing. He's like
he's the opposite of Cliff Kingsbury.
He's Philk Berry Kings.
Yeah, he's like the polar opposite of Cliff Kingsbury.
I'm gonna start calling him Philk. Then we had maybe the game of the week: Chiefs versus Chargers.
A barn burner.
Yeah, a Sunday night game. We picked the under. Unfortunately, everything else we got right.
Why did we do that? That was stupid.
I figured the Chargers. Oh, we didn't know Mike Williams was gonna play and Keenan Allen. We didn't know they were both gonna play. But yeah, they did play, and the Chargers looked like the Chargers of old. And in keeping with the Chargers of old, they lost the game at the end, like they do.
That's what they do.
Yeah. Kelsey was out of his goddamn mind, as always. Mahomes is just like, there's always one or two plays every game where you're just like, only this guy can do that. And
what do you think of this this Isaiah Pacheco guy?
I like him a lot. I like the way I was thinking about Buffalo as I watched this game too. The way that they really committed to especially early in the game. They committed to trying to run the ball. This has been a deficiency in both of those two teams where it's just like, all right, they're going to throw the ball every down. But they made it where, like, you had to respect that shit. And I like Pacheco a lot. I liked him all year, though.
Yeah, he's really recently kind of emerging as their main guy.
Yeah, he stole that shit from Clyde to Glide.
Yeah, exactly. So. He had 15 carries, 107 yards. Joshua Palmer for the Chargers had a surprisingly good day. 106 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was catching those deep bombs.
He's been using him a lot. Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert looked good. He threw his every game. If they're like down at the end, he's gonna throw a pick. So he did that. He was on par with his normal thing, but only 7 incompletions.
Weren't the Chargers up like 20-13 at the half?
Was it 20-13?
I think it was.
Yeah.
And then the Chiefs came out and just took over.
Yeah.
Man, Mahomes, dude. You can't. You can't fuck with this guy.
He's the best. He's so good that it's like Jordan, where like we know he's the best. Let's give it to somebody. You know what I mean? It's like that, where like Jordan doesn't win MVP. It's like, come on, man. He's at that level. It's fun to watch, and I just hope he stays healthy, like for the sake of the league. You know what I mean? He just wants him to stay healthy.
Yeah,
and he's
true.
A gamer too. Sometimes he'll go out there and run. I love the way he like scampers and gets those last like 3 yards and sticks the ball out just a taunt almost. It's nice.
He's good.
Then we had you went for the upset on the final game. Cardinals.
Oh no, sorry.
You thought Cliff Kingsbury's Cardinals. Oh, they put the graphic up too. Cliff Kingsbury's college and pro career, how he starts the seasons and how he ends them. They put that graphic up. I'm sure they're gonna do it every game for the rest of his career until he's fired at the end of this year. But The
This-
49ers
what was
came out. Oof.
What was the final score?
I'll tell you. They 49ers beat them 38-10.
Oof.
And yeah, they start. I watched it. I watched every snap. I do that every Monday night game. Colt McCoy, he came out trying to ball too. He went 24 for 34, 218 yards. Wow. But he didn't finish the game. But I think it's partially because it got out of hand. Like McCaffrey was going off. Like they were hitting on all cylinders. They were scary as shit.
They got all the Yak Bros going in this one.
the Yak Bros, I like that. They were all like they were spreading it around. It was like pick your poison. If Ayuk, he scored multiple touchdowns. Ayuk did. He had 2. George Kittle had 2. And then, but Deebo Samuel coming around the end the way they do. McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell was balling. It's like they were just like picking them apart.
And that one Kittle touchdown where it looked like the Cardinals were just making the business decision to not even try to tackle him was like that was just disgraceful.
He had punished them already, man. They were probably like, man, this bully. Let me just get in my locker. I'll put myself in my locker.
He was out there running around before the game and after the game with these Mexican wrestling masks on, and just like he was a beast.
The game was in Mexico.
The game was in Mexico, Mexico City at the Estadio Azteca, which for me, like I was actually gonna, after I woke up and saw how this game played out and watched the highlights, I was like, my first question is like, how do you say the 49ers dropped a hammer on the Cardinals in Spanish?
Okay.
So then I looked it up, and apparently in Spanish that is Los 49ers lanzaron un martillo sobre los Cardenales. That's how you say they dropped a hammer on them.
They did, man.
Mm-hmm.
And
this was just an absolute fucking beatdown.
Jimmy G with 4 touchdown passes. When do you ever see that?
And when are you going to see it again? Probably never.
Never.
You know what I mean?
It takes a special team to get shown up like that by Jimmy G. And that's
But that being said, this is precisely what they had expected when what's his name, Trey Lance gets injured, Jimmy G slots in. This was the best case scenario. Yeah. We have great pieces. Just hit them in space and let them do the rest of the work. Yeah. And that's why Debo's the one who came up with this nickname, the Yak Bros. He came up with that nickname for those guys because that's all they need. It's like, just get the ball in their hands. I don't care if the pass is 1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards. Just let them do the rest from there. And that's pretty much what happened here.
Yeah, man. Well, that was it. That was the game. The final tally for Flip 'em Pick 'em, it was 8-7. So we both had 8-7 this week, and one of those is 3 points for me, which was kind of a BS 3 points. But hey, it's rules are rules. So I'm winning 93-87.
Let's go. Far. It's tight.
Yeah,
neck and neck, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, man. It's tight. So we're gonna get ready for week 12, but before week 12. We got to have the superlatives.
Let's go.
Real MVP, man. Who you got?
I got to go with my man, Scordarrelle Patterson, who just set the all-time NFL kick returns for a TD record. 9 total in his career. Not to mention, he also has 7 career touchdowns that are 100-plus yards.
Wow.
No one else in NFL history has more than 3.
Wow. Damn.
And this man is 6'2" and 220 pounds.
Damn.
Okay. On top of that, my favorite part of this whole thing is how, this came right after he fumbled the ball away, which led to a Bears touchdown, to come back out on the field, knowing that you just gave away these points to the other team, and that's how you respond. And I just saw this morning this clip where he was mic'd up on the sidelines, and after the Bears had scored, he was mic'd up, and he's talking to. I posted it on the Facebook page. He's like, "Hey, y'all just do your job. I'll do the rest. Just go out there and block somebody. I'll take care of the rest." and he goes out on the field and just blasts that motherfucker 103 yards to the house, from the A to the A. My man, Cordarrelle Patterson.
For the A.
For the A. Let's go. You are the real MVP, baby. Let's go.
Oh, I got excited, man. I couldn't even have my own.
You the real MVP.
All right. Well, I was going to give it to him, but he fumbled, so I didn't do it. So I had to go with a different MVP, and that's Travis Cheat Code Kelce. Did what he does and cranked out 3 touchdowns to give his team the victory. He's so fun to watch and was ready to take down a game Chargers team that had yet another instant classic of a game against their big brother Chiefs. Kelce would not be stopped, even with the defense keying on him all night. I'm still in awe of his speed and elusiveness at his size, and he always seems like one of the leaders with this juggernaut of a team. This isn't the first, and I'm sure it won't be the last I say. Travis Kelce.
You the real MVP. Whoa! It don't get no better than that, baby.
Throwing his own sound right there.
That's a good choice. I like it.
Who's our trash? Go ahead and give our trash.
I'm going to go with the entire Patriots-Jets game. This motherfucking bitch, was sold to us with so much narrative going into it, right? The Jets are 0-13 in Foxborough over the last several seasons. They haven't won a game there since Brett Favre was their quarterback. And Bill is supposed to be that coach who can, take away that one thing that you're good at and make you win some other way. I guess you could say Belichick's defense, the Jets offense didn't give him anything to take away because they weren't that good, right? Yeah. You can't take something away if it ain't there. But the Patriots weren't good either. It takes a rookie punt returner making an 80-plus yard house call to make sure that this shit bowl doesn't go to overtime at 3-3. And Zach Wilson, get this, listen to this. This fucking blew my mind. The Jets had more punts than Zach Wilson had completions in this game. Dude, you had 2 yards in the second half. You never crossed your own 35-yard line. This is one of those games that if we had a relegation league in the NFL, you'd have to just say, okay, that's it. Both teams are going down right now for making fans pay actual money to see this shit. You're both punished with immediate relegation. See you next year. Goodbye. Just go away.
Yeah.
And now, and then all this shit that we talked about before about Zach Wilson, wrong answer, bro. You let the defense down. Now he's probably going to get benched for being a fucking douchebag because he can't take responsibility for being a shitty quarterback who it's not his fault that he's not an NFL quarterback. They picked him to be one and they found out that he's not. This guy is not. He's the next journeyman backup, basically. The next Sam Darnold, the next fill in the blank. He's not. He's a bust. He's not real. He sucks at football. He's a bad fucking football player.
God damn.
Sorry, you're trash.
You are trash.
All right. You finished with the player that I'm gonna name this week. I can't give it to the whole Jet because the Jets defense stepped up and they delivered 3 points for the offense to capitalize on.
Sure.
And the offense could not. Same to be said for the Patriots defense. So I can't give them both trash, but Zach Wilson was a bag of vomit, full baby diapers, and old chicken skin.
Oh, no.
I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback that bad before, especially in this advanced passing league that we're watching these days. This dude was 9 of 22 with 77 yards. That sounds like a quarterback that got benched, but no, he played the whole game. The offense had 2 yards in the second half. Zach Wilson led that passing game in the second half to minus 21 yards.
Yikes.
That's not a typo. Negative 21 yards in the second half. I've never seen anything like it. The outlets pass to the flats that sailed over the running back's head told the entire story to me. And to cap it off, Wilson, when asked if he feels like he let the defense down, the defense, by the way, held the Patriots to 3 points up until the final kickoff return. Wilson said he did not feel like he let the defense down. I don't know if he, exactly. I don't know if he returns to the starting position anymore at all after that statement. If I were his coach, I'd tell him in 5 simple words: Zach Wilson.
You are trash.
My shit they got learned is the Vikings are not for real. This is not a knee-jerk reaction at all either. I've been watching the Vikings. They haven't really passed the eye test. They're fun and all, and I have a soft spot in my heart for our guy, Kirk Cousins, because of his statement that we all love that I can't find on.
You like that? You like that?
But this team is not ready to take the step as a contender. At least not from what I'm seeing or what I've seen this year. They almost lost to the Commanders. They're beating some bad teams. And now the schedule is reminding us who they really are. Kevin O'Connell is at that part of the season where teams have adjusted to his style, and it might be time for him to switch it up. We'll see if he's got it as a new coach. I don't know, but that's the shit that I got learned from me this week.
I agree with you, and I think that they're probably a year ahead of schedule as far as like where they thought they were going to be. So that's sort of the good news for Vikings fans.
That's true.
That you're a year ahead of where I think anyone ever expected you to be, which is
contender,
clean. Yeah. So they to me were the team that I expected to make the most regression in the second half of the season.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we'll see. For me, I learned that the AFC is definitely going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Because as I've said multiple times throughout this episode, you can't trust the NFC. The 8-1 Vikings lose to the 6-3 Cowboys. The 7-2 Giants lose to the 3-6 Lions. The 8-1 Eagles barely beat the 3-6 Colts with a high school coach.
Barely.
The Super Bowl defending Rams are in an absolute tailspin. And the Rams are just completely out of control. The Seahawks, who were tapped to be one of the worst teams in the NFL, are now, well, actually, I think maybe the 49ers are in the lead of the NFC West now, but you get the point. I cannot sit here and tell you who from the AFC will win the Super Bowl, but whoever makes it to the dance, this shit is a lock. There is no way the NFC is winning the Super Bowl this year.
Damn. That's a good point, man. I can't, there's only one, we'll talk about that too. Scariest AFC team?
Well, obviously you can make an argument for the Chiefs.
Yeah. Is that who
anybody could. But for now, I'm actually going to stick with the Dolphins, even though they were on a bye week. Somehow I think that they got even scarier because they didn't play this week. Like, it was almost like the rest of the league could sort of collectively take a breath, like a sigh of relief, because the Dolphins were not playing football on Sunday. And the idea of them coming back healthy, considering the number of wins and the way that they win football games, to me, it's still the Dolphins and the Chiefs, I guess, if I had to say it. It's kind of a coin toss.
All right. I just said it's the Chiefs for me, man. I feel like they got the best player in the league on the team. They can win in different ways. The way that they were running the ball this game against the Chargers and then getting the interception at the end when they needed it, I feel like, they're the scariest team. I wouldn't want to play them. You make a good point with the Dolphins, though. Their defense really scares me. I mean, in a different way. It scares me as a fan.
Right.
Scariest NFC teams, I'll start 49ers. They had a very complete game this past game, beating the brakes off the Cardinals, who are the Cardinals. But they put it together, and I like that the Yak brothers, the Yak Bros, because that's what they are, man. They look like an AFC team, except for they got an NFC defense that's out there old school NFC defense that's out there punching you in the mouth. I forget the linebacker's name. I wanted to mention him. That was flying around the field. He wears the arm brace on his right arm. He was everywhere. He looked like you mentioned Milano. He was playing like Milano, man. I can't remember his name, but anyway, they were all over.
Is it Hendrickson?
I don't know. I won't remember. But he was balling. I think that is maybe, but yeah, they were the 49ers easily. I think the scariest team in the NFC. I wouldn't be surprised if they seem like the one team I think could pull off a Super Bowl upset over the AFC.
Yeah, maybe
if they get in there. That defense is crazy. Who you got? Scariest NFC?
Last week I said Vikings? ? And I guess you could say 49ers. I hear you. I need to see it a few more weeks in a row, to be honest. I think it's great that they beat the Cardinals and they look obviously dominant. I saw the same game that you saw. But I still do not trust the 49ers 100% yet. This week I'm going none of the above. Cowboys look great, but I want to see them do it more consistently. Same thing with 49ers. Eagles, they were out there struggling against a high school football coach. The Giants fell on their faces. My Falcons obviously look sneaky scary, but, that's always a week-to-week TBD kind of thing. So I'm going to roll with none of the above this week.
All right, man. Falcons are playing the Dolphins in the Super Bowl. We know what's going down.
You are we adding put some spec on my name?
Oh, I got one. Yeah.
You got one?
I got somebody who I'm putting spec on their name. You want me to do mine? Who am I putting some spec on their name?
Put some spec on my name.
Rookie Aiden Hutchinson. Put some spec on his name. He's got gator arms, but he had 2 interceptions so far. And he's adjusted to NFL speed and is thriving. The pick he made in this game and his run back reminded us why Detroit picked him so high. The league is on notice now. Aiden Hutchinson has arrived.
Put some respect on my name.
He's an argument for patience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just give it a minute. Give him some time. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty good. I want to put some spec on Mike Vrabel, the coach of the Tennessee Titans.
Yes.
I feel like I don't give this dude enough credit week after week. I doubt that these Titans I just doubt that they're going to be able to do this. And they seem to do the same thing every year. They start off slow and then they get better as the season goes on. He's sort of like, what's his name? Mr. We Do Not Care.
Mike Tomlin.
Exactly. This guy he's never had a losing season either. And yet week after week, it comes around. If I'm given the chance to pick the Titans, I usually pick against them. And there's something about this dude who he just always figures out a way to make this team better than the sum of their parts. Unlike most of the coaches in the league. And I feel like, I just don't give him enough respect. And I want to put some spec on his name.
Put some respect on my name.
Yeah, and that's a good point, man. I like that. He made Brian Tannehill into a winner, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody was doubting Tannehill, and he brought the best out of him. He old school football, making it work in this new school era.
Yeah, and he's not even part of the Belichick tree necessarily because he was a player.
Right.
But he feels like the only person to come up. What is he, like a Belichick bush? You call him instead of a tree? He's part of the bush.
He's in the shadow.
Right? He's part of the shrubbery. He's the only real successful one.
Pollen. He's Belichick pollen.
Right.
And him and Wes Welker, who's the receivers coach in Miami.
Right.
Who's getting a lot of praise because of Tyreek Hill. It's like, shut the fuck up, everybody. All right. Well, that was this episode of SveNFL, man. We really appreciate y'all checking out our Week 11 preview, and we'll be back soon with the Week 11 reactions. We'll be back with the Week 12 predictions pretty soon. But we appreciate y'all. It has been Jonathan Rollins,
Skip Misara.
What's SveNFL? Don't forget, you can support us at patreon.com/SveNFL. Hit us up. Follow us on Instagram, SveNFL Pod. And we'll catch y'all soon, man. Peace.
Later, y'all.